This channel is not for children, neither is it for the weak of heart or mind. Viewer discretion is advised.
Greetings, my friends, foes, and evil minions. Now, the gods have been a part of who we are since the very beginning, and to ignore them is foolish. They are the avatars or the archetypes of the collective unconscious, and thus their meaning and significance is much greater than whether they're, quote, real or not. The gods are paradoxical, for even though they're presented as fantastical entities of the subjective, their mission is to get you to face the realities of the objective world where we so precariously tread. And some of these gods come forth from that shadowy realm of the collective unconscious called the Dark Absolute. So, here are my 5 favorite gods, and I've chosen to leave out Satan, Lucifer, Lilith, even Prometheus, because technically speaking, they're not gods. They're either angels or titans or whatever. So, I will begin with number 5. Now, Cernunnos is here because he represents a Celtic or Druidic interpretation of the horn god, because I feel it's important. He's important as a symbol, and truth is, even though the neo-pagans would say otherwise, we know next to nothing about him. We can only guess based on what we know of the horn god archetype. It's a shame that we don't know more, for much of ancient Celtic wisdom has been lost to antiquity. But Cernunnos as a symbol is relevant here in the Western world because of the influence Druidism has had on Western occultism. And the symbol that is Cernunnos speaks to our subconscious. Because even though the ego may not be able to recite his tales, deep down, we know his story. Number 4. Now, Dionysus. Dionysus, he's a Greek nature god of not only wine, but of lavish, orgiastic rites, for he had the power to inspire and to create ecstasy. And over the ages, his cult has had special importance on the arts and literature. The mythological followers of Dionysus included spirits of fertility, such as the satyrs. Dionysus often took on a bestial shape and was associated with various animals. Hence, whether one realizes it or not, he is one of the many faces of the horn god archetype. Number 3. In my opinion, no image better represents the left-hand path than that personification of the dark absolute called the goddess Kali. For like the left-hand path, she does not easily fit into the typical narrative of good versus evil, but in fact transcends both. Kali is the furious form of the mother goddess, represented with perhaps the most intense features of all the gods. She has 4 arms with a scimitar in one hand and the head of a demon in the other, while her other 2 hands bless her followers. She has 2 decaying heads for earrings, a string of skulls for a necklace, and a girdle made of human arms. Kali's form is ripe with symbolism. Her long, wild black hair represents nature's freedom from civilization. Her wide eyes alert ablaze with the fury of 2 molten pits, or an expression of her violent intensity. Under the 3rd eye of Kali are the signs of the sun, the moon, which represent the driving forces of nature. Her black complexion represents the darkness for which everything was born, for she is the substance of reality, the blackness out of which the stars shine. Number 2. Odin, Norse Allfather, leader of the Aesir, the seeker after knowledge. He is both the Lord of Light and the Prince of Darkness, a fierce, destructive god associated with storms, war, and the wild hunt. His act of hanging himself from Yggdrasil, the world tree, to gain the secret of the runes, sacrificing himself to himself, was the act of a supreme lord of the left-hand path. Odin shows us that to reach apotheosis, one must suffer to obtain that secret knowledge in order to become the god within. And Odin is said to have a deep Proto-Indo-European link with our final god, my number 1 choice. Even though I'm not a Hindu, Shiva is my favorite of the gods of the left-hand path. Even though he's often represented from a right-hand path perspective, he has another side, a darker side. And that darker side is revered by some of the most extreme practitioners of the path. You can find Shiva lurking in the cremation grounds with evil spirits, ghosts, and vampires. He is also the master of thieves and villains. His destructive powers have a positive side in that destruction usually leads to new and better forms of existence. He destroys the universe at the end of each cycle, which then allows for a new creation. Shiva destroys in order to create, since death is the medium for rebirth. For everything you learn, anytime you learn anything, there's a little death, the death of ignorance. Shiva is the ultimate adversarial to those aspects of the self that keep one from progressing upon the path. Shiva, like all other mythological beings, is to be experienced within the psyche as a meaningful bit of poetry of the subconscious. In conclusion, if you're an occultist, dark pagan, sinisterous, Satanist, whatever, never forget the importance of the gods and mythology. And remember, the gods can either be the wind at your back or they can be pulling your leash. So there you have it, my top 5. Who are your favorite gods? Who inspires you? Leave your comments down below, and please like, share, and subscribe.